Hello, everybody. Welcome to Championship Predictions Round 41. We are in a 3-game week, so no Championship check-in until Thursday. We're here predicting the midweek games. And Sam, listen very carefully. What's that sound? That is footsteps, mate, coming up behind you because I won again. That's 2 in a row, which I think is probably the first time I've won 2 in a row this season, which means the weekly is now 17 to me, 18 to you. So I've called it up from 15-18, where it was 2 ago. So we didn't know the results going into the Derby Preston game, so I managed to finish that one off. And this past round, Sam, 13-5 to me. You did indeed get Coventry 1, Burnley 2, Bob on, but I, mate, got 3. I got Millwall 2, Pompey 1, Sheffield Wednesday 0, Hull 1, and Swansea 1, Derby 0. You're looking pretty comfortable in the aggregate. It's 305. Well done. You're over the 300 mark and 293. But, mate, you've got to be quaking in your boots, haven't you? Surely now.
No, not in the slightest, mate. I think I've become a little bit complacent, and
Just making
I'm
it interesting.
basically, like 4-0 up, and I'm starting to showboat near the corner flag. I'm probably going to get kicked up in the air. That's the mode I've been in. So I need to tune in, basically, which is difficult off the back of just commentating on Brentford v Chelsea 0-0. But I'm going to try and get wired in this evening, try and wake up and give it my all. What did I have for? Have you got him in front of you?
I
Middlesbrough,
don't, but I can probably
Blackburn.
remember.
Sorry, Blackburn, Middlesbrough's haunting me a little bit because I left a message for a mate of mine in the
Your
afternoon.
words to me was Blackburn can't lose 5 in a
Was
row
it?
or 6 in a row. So I think you might have had a draw in that.
Oh,
The people
really?
who tell us in the comments, they know.
Okay,
They
well, I
know.
told my mate that Middlesbrough were going to win 2-0 at Blackburn on the phone
Well,
about
they
an hour
did.
before it kicked off. I know.
You should have told me
Annoying.
that.
I know. Annoying, isn't it? Annoying.
There you go. Get involved in the comments. By the way, we're recording on Sunday night. It is half term in mine and Sam's world, so we will be going into parent mode early tomorrow morning. Get involved in the comments, please, guys. We'd love to get your predictions. All of the fixtures will be in the description. Copy, paste, fill it in, guys. Give us predictions for the 12 midweek games, round 41. Give yourself a point for a correct outcome, home, away, draw. Give yourself 3 points for a correct scoreline. Bonus point, give yourself 4 points if you predict a correct scoreline and it has 5 or more goals. Sam, we're a bit uneven this time. I think it's like 9 on Tuesday and 3 on Wednesday, which doesn't do for my organised brain. But we're going to kick off with Blackburn, who can lose another game in a row, versus Sheffield Wednesday. And things getting worse there off the pitch. Players haven't been paid. Danny Roll almost on the farewell tour already, Sam. Blackburn Wednesday.
Yeah, I didn't realise until having a little look earlier that these two were meeting, the two teams that are going through, two clubs that are going through the mire at the moment, colliding. Cool. I suppose Sheffield Wednesday have been pretty good away from Hillsborough. Very few results at home this season, which we keep saying. That was arguably my goal of the weekend. Hughes for Hull. What a header that
John
was.
Terry-esque, that, wasn't it?
Oh, it was dreamy, wasn't it? I actually did a bit on the
Perfect.
radio this morning. I wanted it to be brought up so I could reference it to Tony Cascarino because I'm sure he would have been.
Oh,
He would
yeah,
have
there's
been.
a guy who would have scored that goal,
He
yeah.
would have scored that for Marseille away at Bastia or something. There's one for the kids there.
One for the hipsters, that is, Sam. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, it looked horrible at Ewood Park. Obviously on Friday, I watched the first half. I didn't persevere with the second, but I got the drift of it. I'm going to go for Sheffield Wednesday to win 2-1 at Blackburn.
Yeah. I just wonder whether Wednesday, Sam, knowing that there's Mr. Chansiri problems again and knowing that Danny Roll is on the farewell tour, I wonder whether they might drop off to end this season. We thought they might push towards the playoffs, but so I will take the draw in this one. I'm not going to give Big Val a win just yet. I know he had one draw early in his tenure. Was it against Norwich, possibly, where they equalised right late into the game? I'm gonna play a card from your playbook, Sam, and call a 1-1 for the first game. I'll go Blackburn 1, Wednesday 1. And mate, this is massive. Bristol City versus West Brom. This is a brilliant game, by the way. West Brom just dropped out of the playoff spots. Bristol City have taken 6th place as well. And Sam, all my form lines and trend lines say Bristol City are going to win this. They're really, really good at home, City. West Brom are kind of bimbling away and dropping, and like having 60+% possession and not scoring more than one goal in any of their games. So I will be backing Bristol City. I think West Brom will score in this one. So I'm going to go for the same score that Bristol City had at the weekend. Bristol City 2, West Brom 1, which would put a 6-point gap between City and the Baggies. What do you reckon?
I think that Sunderland, albeit they were pretty good in defending their lead at the Hawthorns, I don't think West Brom did a lot wrong in that game. On another day, I think the outcome could have been different. Plenty of shots, plenty of half chances, maybe not golden ones. I'm going to go for it to be ripped up. I'm going to go for West Brom to win at Bristol City. Swansea won at Bristol City, the only time anyone's been victorious there, I think, in 11, 12 odd fixtures. But I'm going to go for West Brom to be the next team. 2-1.
That's bold, mate. I'll give you that one. I like it. Derby versus Burnley, Sam. Derby off their 4-game winning streak. And the one team you probably don't want to play, you saw them at the weekend, is Burnley.
Yeah. Didn't look like there was a great deal between Swansea and Derby. I think that's an understatement. Very few chances. Obviously, very disappointed after the run they've been at. Back at home, I can't do anything but back Burnley here. 1-0. That's 3 away wins straight off the bat. 1-0 Burnley.
Yeah, that's a scribble for me, Sam. I totally agree with you, and I had the same score lined up for that one. So I'll have to take a 2-0. I've got to give Burnley a clean sheet. Just for the record, Rams fans, I do like you to survive. I think this is on for Derby, but it's at Pride Park and it's not in this game where the job's going to be done. I think there's enough momentum at Derby to keep it going, but Burnley, mate, 27 unbeaten, just gone to the top of the table. They are in fine feckle and they're going to be really, really at it. Norwich versus Sunderland. Right, let me get my head around this because this could be anything. So Sunderland have won their last 2 by 1-0, both scored by Trey Hume. You're right, West Brom didn't do a lot wrong. Norwich are all over the place, very silly at the moment. Norwich going to Plymouth and losing. We didn't call that, either of us, did we? I feel like Sunderland are trying to go into tournament mode nice and early before the playoffs, and they've had those 2 clean sheets. But then Norwich are really goaly, aren't they? Do you reckon Sunderland could win 1-0 again? I don't know. Mate, I can't call it. I'm interested to see what you're going to say. I'm going to completely fudge this and go 1-1. And nice to see Enzo Lefebvre back because we loved him before he got injured. Sam, make me understand how this game's going to go.
Well, I think only Leeds have scored more goals than Norwich. I think I'm right in saying that. So you're bang on there. Full credit to Sunderland. Keep on churning out the performances and results. I think it could be good fun because I don't think Norwich are going to make it. I think that's pretty much across the board the feeling now. I'll go for 2-2.
Yeah, I like it. Preston Cardiff, Sam.
Well, we're kind of going with a stance, I think, having had a little chat with you pre-show this evening, that Swansea should be all right on the 48 or on the cusp of probably the points total we think for survival. So Preston are just one spot above them on 48 points as well. But you don't want to start losing every week and put unnecessary pressure on you. Listen, I've predicted Cardiff to go down, so I'm going to stick with my gut. I'll go for a 1-0 Preston win to get them over the line, and Cardiff have to wait for their salvation.
Do you know what? I'm toying with the idea, Sam, of predicting a Cardiff win here. You know, sometimes just on these end of season ones,
it's one goal either way, isn't it? I think this one.
Yeah,
tight game.
Someone just pulls one out of the bag, and you would make Preston favourites, and you'd make Preston, if they're going to win, they're going to do it by 1 goal. You've already taken that, and I've had a couple of draws, so I might just throw this one in. You've flagged up you like the Cardiff goal scorers, so I'll go for them to score twice. Salek, and of course Robinson's a former Preston player, isn't he, as well? Let's go 2-1 Cardiff, just because it's a rising tide. There's been a lot of unexpected wins down at the bottom, and it's the EFL and silly things happen. So I'm going to take Cardiff to win this one 2-1. Sheffield United versus Millwall, Sam. I mean, look, we've got to heap praise on Oxford. We'll do that in a little bit. That was a hell of a win, but big chance missed by Sheffield United, who could have gone 4 points clear of Leeds had they won that game. We know that Millwall, Sam, are literally going win, lose, win, lose, win, lose. So they're on for a defeat and they're away from the den. My most overused stat, Sam, is 15 one-goal victories for Sheffield United this season. So let's do it again. Sheffield United 1, Millwall 0.
Trying to find a page which I scribbled a stat on this morning. There's a method to my madness. Sorry for the noise, everyone.
Sam will be back for the Championship Checking podcast on Thursday. I'll just do a little bit of plugging while he's finding this stat. Remember, in a 3-game week, we go predictions early. Have you found it, mate?
I don't think I have, but I'll convey it as best as I can. Ivanovic, basically, the goals that he's scoring are all incredibly important goals. That's 2 winning goals, if you like, because he got the brace against Portsmouth, obviously got the last-minute penalty against Stoke. I think every goal that he scored this season has meant points, either in terms of getting Millwall a draw or getting them maximum points. And I love that. 8 goals he's got
I think
now.
it must be every game that he scored in, because obviously he scored 2 at the weekend. So his first goal didn't get him points, but it must be every game he scored in.
Yeah. I mean, and this is just something I looked at today. I didn't read it. So he scored 8 goals and all of them have earned Millwall points. So I love that because,
I reckon he could get 20 goals if he's fit all of next season.
And do you know what was good as well? And then we'll save this for later in the week maybe, but the manner of the goals as well, because I think, not a criticism because he's a young lad playing his first few games, but I think people were unsure as to whether he had the physicality maybe. So to see him scoring the scrappy ones, headers, 6-yard box, that's really, really great. And they should be optimistic about him next season. However...
You're about to predict him to lose.
What did you have?
1-0 Blades.
I was scrambling, trying to find something. I'll go for a carbon copy of their victory over Coventry, 3-1.
Oh, mate. Is there a bigger game than this midweek? Stoke versus Luton. Wow.
Oh. Well, they found their groove, haven't they? A little bit, Luton. Great goal. Loved the goal. Clark for Isaiah Jones. Fast stick. And it looked like they got a performance, everything I've read, and the kind of desperate tone of the Leeds supporters in the aftermath of this one suggests that Luton were good value for the draw. Stoke, I've kind of earmarked them for a couple of grubby ones, haven't I? 0-0.
Ooh.
And I'm not sure about it. I wanted the 1-1, but Luton had the 1-1 and Stoke had the 1-1 at the weekend. 0-0.
I'm going to back Stoke to win, Sam, because all of my longer-term predictions had Stoke leveraging the first 4 games, getting out of Dodge early and then losing to Derby on the last day and Derby surviving. Luton, they just turned it to dust, completely blew up the middle of the pitch and pressed the hell out of Leeds. And it was ugly and the ball wasn't in play much, loads of long throws. But it's the end of the season, mate. What are you going to do? You're trying to stay up. It doesn't have to be pretty. So we like Stoke at home, don't we? I think there's something there for Luton still, but not in this game. So I'm going to go for another 1-0 home win, the grubbiest of grubbiness, and Stoke to get that over the line. And then, talking about your points projections, if Luton and Cardiff do hang around on 39 and 41 points, that does, at this stage, just drop it down each round we go. Watford versus Hull. I was amazed, Sam. Hull have got 14 points in the last 8 games, and they were still right up to their necks in trouble. Needed that brilliant goal you were talking about to win them the game, which I think says, A, how bad Tim Volter was, and B, how much the tide has been rising, that they've still got plenty to do here. Watford are on the beach, aren't they, Sam? And you've seen them more recently than me. I think Hull are going to get a point here. You've had a nil effing nil in the last one. I'll take one here. I think Sellers and Hull will be happy to turn up, clean sheet, get out of there, and then they're 4 points in the middle of the 3-game week, aren't they? So I'll take 0-0, mate.
Yeah, it's funny because, I read something earlier or, read a report of Millwall's victory. Millwall's faint playoff challenge still alive. That's the kind of the narrative there. And they're only a point better off than Watford. But there's no suggestion that the Hornets are going to make a dart
all
to the
6
playoffs.
of their last games. Yeah, right.
Yeah, so I'm with you. It's a real test for Tom Cleverley, I think, to keep them going because you know what a negative sequence of results can do at Watford. And there's been a good feeling now, I think, under him this season. So it'll be a shame if it peters out. I'll go stronger. I'll go for the repeat. The repeat from Saturday. I'll go Watford 0, Hull 1.
Oh, on TV, Middlesbrough versus Leeds, 1 win in 6. What are they doing, Sam?
Oh, man. Yeah, well, I felt these were 2 really tricky games that needed a decent return just to get that feeling back and a little bit of confidence, a little bit of rhythm. I don't think they're going to get it here. Yeah, I just looked at some of the numbers. They're still scoring goals, obviously, but just think in the 10 and at number 9 at the moment, there's lack of options really. I know you could play Nonto in there or Ramazani or whatever and change the look of it a little bit, but I just think there's a bit of a lack of goals. Piru's got 1 in 8, I think now, 1 in 7. Joseph, Bamford come on the other day, didn't he, and had that opportunity at Luton. But I just think they're obviously the ones in the top 3, despite Sheffield United's defeat, that there's the biggest uncertainty about, and that's understandable given last year as well. If I had a 2-2, 2-2.
You did, but you can have another one.
2-2 to contradict myself. Leeds 2 on the road, 2-2 from midfield. Goals from midfield.
So, Sam, this was 3-4 at the end of last season, and it's literally the same 2 managers playing exactly the same way with a lot of the same players.
Middlesbrough
so I think
smashed them in the League Cup early part of this season.
Yeah, that was a bit of an outlier.
Yeah.
I don't pay too much attention to that, but I don't see why it would be any different, Sam. So I like your 2-2. I'm going to raise it. I'm going to back Leeds and I'm going to play for a bonus point here. I'm going to go 3-2 because I just don't see any reason why there wouldn't be loads of goals with these. We know exactly what these 2 managers are going to do. So I'll go. I'm sure that Leeds fans would like the most boring 2-0 win possible, but they ain't getting it, I don't think. But I'll give them a win. Middlesbrough 2, Leeds 3. God, you thought Stoke Luton was good, big Sam. Oxford versus QPR. And I'm sure when you were asking me about Pompey's 45 being safe enough, you were surreptitiously asking about QPR's 46, and they're not winning QPR. And by God, if they go to Oxford here and lose, then Oxford would overtake QPR. And I know traffic is important, Sam, and it's good to have, even if it's a low points differential, it's good to have teams between you. But QPR are really in trouble if they lose this game. And Oxford have won back-to-back home games 1-0, and they've found something there, haven't they? So even though I know you're a great lover of QPR, I'm going to back Oxford to win a 3rd consecutive home game by 1-0. Probably some muggy, bouncy pinball throw-in Michael Hellick special or something like that. 1-0 Oxford, Sam.
Yeah, I don't think it can happen for a 3rd time on the spin. As good a value as they were for the victory over Sheffield United, and I watched Chris Wilder's post-match, and he said as much. They didn't play, did they? A couple of half chances really to talk of, and didn't deal well enough with Oxford's game plan. Put them under pressure, long throws, and Dembele getting another goal, wasn't it? 2 match-winning performances back to back at home. I'll go for QPR to grind out a 1-1. I think Oxford, just looking at the fixtures in front of me, and maybe have to wait until the 21st of April. Swansea at home, maybe to get over the line proper. But I think a point here will be enough to put them on the right road. 1-1.
They need that win from somewhere, don't they, Sam? Swansea versus Plymouth.
Oh, blimey. Well, it's a hell of a win, wasn't it? lovely goals. Ryan Hardy, the first one.
You've always liked him, haven't you?
Well, yeah, I wrote this down as well. Sorry, 7 and 8. There you go. He's 7
Has
and
he
8
actually? Wow.
appearances, and he was 1 in the first 23 appearances. So some of them off the bench. So he's on it at the moment. You love the first goal, the touch, immaculate. Remind me who they're playing.
Swansea. Think how good Hardy'd be if he got to work with England's all-time top goal scorer, hey?
Yeah, indeed. At Swansea, they got that morale. It feels like a draw again, doesn't it? What the hell of it? 1-0 Argyle.
Oh! Oh dear, it feels like a draw. So then I thought you landed on a home win, but you went on an away win.
It's going to make it like incredibly nervy for every team up to.
Oh, wouldn't it
16th,
just? Yeah. Yeah, I said I'd reserve judgment on Plymouth unless they got 4 points in the next 2 games and they're at 41 from 42. Then yeah, it really does get squeaky bum time for everyone. I don't think they're going to do it, Sam. Do you realise Swansea? I think they've got 11 points in 7. I think is right under Alan Sheehan. So they're actually quite good since he stepped in from Luke Williams. So I'm going to back the Swans to get the win here. And I haven't been very goal laden, so I'm going to go 3-1. Being you've said Ryan Hardy's in such good form, we'll give Plymouth a goal. Finally, Coventry versus Portsmouth, which I think you're working, Sam. And I'm sorry, Pompey fans, I do it every time you're away from home. I think we get the Coventry bounce back, and Coventry will now make a run. I think they'll probably get 5th place in the end, in my humble opinion. I think that run starts here. I don't like Pompey away from home, Sam. So, yes, you're holding my feet to the fire on this. Yes, they're not safe with their 45. I will concede that to you, mate. And I will go Coventry 2-0.
Yeah, there's nothing that's changing my mind. I think Portsmouth are going to be
safe.
You're doing TV
for this, Sam?
Yeah. And I think Portsmouth will be safe. I mean, Derby at home, it's an unbelievable week that they've got.
Oh, the weekend. Wow.
Now. Yeah, Derby at home at the weekend. Yeah, but I have to go with my gut here, I think. And, I wasn't overly impressed with Coventry at the weekend, albeit it was against Burnley. And I think they'll come out here now that the pack has changed and Bristol City have won and leapfrogged them. So the onus is on them to really attack this game. And I think they will. I'll go for them to win by 2-0.
No, I had 2-0, Sam.
2-1.
2-1, there we go. Right, wonderful stuff. Thank you ever so much, Sam, for joining us as ever early in the week for the round 41 predictions of all the midweek fixtures. Get involved in the comments, all the fixtures down there. Copy and paste from the description. Give yourself a point for down there. You're getting the gist of this YouTube nonsense now, aren't you, Sam? Hey, it's like you want to be in the hot seat. Yeah. I don't want
to. What are you going to do this time? You've never done that before.
See, you're going deep. You're even doing the outtakes, let alone the actual series there, Sam.
Great 10 minutes if anyone's got this, the minutes spare. It's a great 10 minutes of your life.
What's the Bishop Mazarewa one? Always gets me bloody ridiculous. What was I going to say, Sam? You completely put me off a train of thought. 1 point for a correct outcome, 3 points for a correct scoreline, 4 points for a 5 or more goals. That will do me because I need to go and watch all the outtakes from the great British comedy, The Office, and we'll see you for the championship check-in on Thursday. Bishop Mazarewa.